You look at how enormously talented Sophia is. Very powerful, not only physically, but emotionally.
I will be your queen.
What really separates the Universal monsters is that there's a real deep emotional investment in the characters. We look at the story through the monster's point of view, and Sophia is able to communicate it so deeply.
I don't think she's a monster. I think she's a survivor. She wanted to honor what she was about to become, but then all that was taken away from her.
You killed his wife, their child.
They were different times.
At the heart of the Universal monsters, there's either a love story or a longing for something. Every day has been a series of choices designed around the idea of saying, how do we make the audience terrified of this character? How do we make the audience love this character?
Sophia Boutella came into my office not long after she had been in Kingsman. And when it came up in the conversation that she was a dancer and she had danced with Madonna and that she did street dancing, I actually excused myself from the room, went into Alex's office and said, come in and meet your Aminet. And there's no question, as soon as the meeting was over, Alex said, we found her.
Her soul is in her eyes, and that's her gift. And then I said, I literally can't make this movie without you, because I knew that no matter how wicked or evil she was gonna be communicating some kind of deeper pain in her eyes without saying a word.
When I read the script at first, I was finishing Star Trek, and there was also prosthetic for the character, and it terrified me to just be back having loads of prosthetics being put on me. But Alex talked about the character, and he wanted things to come from her more delicate as opposed to monster-like. She's a queen. And he showed me storyboards that he already had made with my face on it, and I was like, what would I say no?
Sophia, I want you to just move very, very slowly around.
We were in London, and Alex said, can we just improvise? And because they needed to see facial features, and all of a sudden, camera right, Tom just popped on the side, and I've never acted with him.
Yeah. Sophia, come in close.
Sophia, she brings a real exotic charm, exotic energy, and commanding performance.
We talked about the attraction between the two characters and how that was not something gross or aggressive, total opposite. And then you have those moments that are creepy and scary.
Aminet goes through a huge series of transformations, and we're using a combination of wardrobe, prosthetic makeup, and digital augmentation.
We did 23 screen tests in total. That's because every time you see Aminet on the screen, she regenerates, or she's in ancient Egypt, or she's fully come back, or she's dead again.
I wanted something that was slightly more beautiful, but still a monster, still a mummy, that would relate to what she was before she was bandaged. We'd mapped her out into 5 stages.
Stage 1, where she lands in a pit, she is nothing but bone and rags, absolutely torn to pieces. And then she pulls herself together literally into this form as she begins to feed.
The more people she sucks the life out of, the stronger she becomes, so her muscles start to grow back.
Aminet is supposed to be completely crushed and destroyed from this plane crash. So how do we initially show that she's broken and twisted?
We came up with a move. It actually happened at the end of a day, and we're just messing around, and came up with this very much like a twisted crab movement. And we got a contortionist in to take it to another level.
We have our motion capture performer, Claudia, to get this sort of cadence to her movements, which are very slow and deliberate.
I had looked at like different crabs and spiders. I saw like a crab walking to the side, and then so I started experimenting with like different walks to the side.
We got Sophia in and started using her flexibility and making her get as close as she could to doing it.
Stage 2 and 3 is where she's developing and turning back into her original form. Her facial elements are beginning to return. The cheekbones, the actual jawline itself, Alex was keen to explore the fusion of bandage and skin at a certain stage, and stage 3 is probably the best place for that. It's something that went over thousands of years.
What we're calling stage 3, it's Sophia in makeup and wardrobe.
As she gets stronger and goes through more human beings, she goes into stage 4, where she almost does when you first see her go to the dark side.
So it's a very delicate stage where she becomes almost herself, and we can see all the colors changing from the monstrous stage she was before into this beautiful woman.
Stage 5, she's fully formed. That's when the body becomes stone-colored and the writing comes onto the body. The raised runes come from the Book of the Dead, so they do actually say something.
Aminette, she's a warrior. The training was a lot of conditioning, and I learned stick fighting as well. I was chained up. That was quite physically painful. Not because I'm chained up, it's just staying in that position.
She had to undergo a tremendous amount of physical stress for what we did in Prodigium, because she spent day upon day upon day chained with her arms behind her back, having to act through these scenes with very hot steam venting through the floor.
And it was incredibly hot because I was wearing that suit, but I had to act like I was freezing. But it was so worth it.
Sophia, as the dancer that she is, she can move herself in ways that nobody else can.
Sophia's been doing a lot of wire work with us. This weird climbing move, we've got like a spider climb.
One of the great old adages is that the villain is the hero of their own story. And I think that you connect so deeply to her experience and to what she's been through, because Sophia was amazing at it.
I want the audience to understand why she does what she does, even though you still don't agree with how she goes about it.
You see what she's created in Aminette, a very moving character and frightening character. Sophia's perfectly cast as the mummy.